Hello, everybody. Welcome this Sunday, October 8th. Yay! And it is so good to see you. It has been a rush to get here, let me tell you. But yesterday, I'm going to iron this while I'm telling you. Yesterday, Mark and I went up to Mount Airy. Now, any of you who have ever watched the Andy Griffith show know that his hometown was Mount Airy, and it was the model for Mayberry. So we went up there to Mount Airy High School, and it's up getting near the mountains, getting closer to the Blue Ridge Parkway. So we went up there yesterday afternoon and didn't get back till late, but we got to see my grandson march, and it was wonderful. I was worried at first if I was going to be able to make it because my sciatica was killing me. Boy, do I sound like an old person when I say that. And I guess I am, but it's like, oh, geez, my sciatica is killing me. Anyway, but I took some Tylenol because I can't take um, an anti-inflammatory, which would really be nice to take. But I took some Advil and went, and I'm so glad I did. Now, we've had a very hot summer like a lot of you have. But boy, the chilly weather is here. And and I forgot it was so crowded trying to find a place to park that I jumped out of the car knowing Mark was going to have to go park it. Totally forgot my jacket. So it got chilly by the time we left there, I guess around 7:30. But hello, everybody. And let me check. I sent a message to my grandson. We were hoping to stay to watch the awards, but they weren't going to start until probably at least 8:30, and I was freezing. So Mark wanted to give me his coat, but I saw his teeth chattering, and I thought, no, he was smart enough to grab a coat. I am not going to take his coat. But hopefully my grandson, oh, yay! They got second place in every category. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay, so I just wrote him. And that was only their second competition of the year. So that's doing pretty good. And I thought they were wonderful. The program was based on The Wizard of Oz. A couple bands had The Wizard of Oz, which really surprised me. So, but they did really well. And it was wonderful to see my grandson march. So now, after having said that, by the time Mark and I grabbed a little something to eat on the way home, and then by the time, oh, hush, I apologize. Mark's home with some groceries, so the dogs are going to bark a little, and I apologize. Maisie, hush. Maisie. They get so excited when he comes in. I don't think there's any asking them to be quiet. But anyway, hey, Cheryl, I'm going to come and see all who's here. But then when I got home, our dear Melton had sent me 20 emails with photos. I had asked her if she would because I don't know about y'all, but I love seeing pictures of her life in Turkey. And then we have pictures from SJ in England that of Arundel Castle. I can't wait to show you. And so it's kind of fun. We meet here to quilt and craft, but then we get to kind of take a little tour around the world. And I don't know about y'all, but that is fun for me. So I downloaded all the photos that Melton sent. And you know what? Please thank her, because that is that's a lot of time it took for her to download all of those photos and upload them onto 20 emails. And I was so honored that she cared to do that for us. And SJ, the same thing, because we've told them we love your countries. We want to know more and see more. So we're very, very thankful. Oh, our Mary's here. Mary, I was going to write you and say, we've missed you. So anyway, but I'm sorry, I was rushing to get here. All I did was just barely brush my hair. It was like Mark and I stayed up talking. We were, I guess it was kind of a date, and that felt special. And so then he went on YouTube and started bringing up all of these 70s and 80s band, um what do you call them now? It's when the band sings and they film it. I've forgotten. But anyway, we were watching all this stuff. By the time we got in bed and I looked at the clock, it was after 3 a.m. So I haven't had enough sleep in a couple days and I'm exhausted, but I'm here. So by the time I got up, it was like after 11. And then I had to do my quick morning chores, and I've been just sewing, trying to get this triptych mostly put together to show you, because today is supposed to be the last day, but I'm not going to be able to really finish it until next Sunday. So anyway, but I was trying to get something here to show you, and I end up kind of filling this counter. So I think we'll have plenty to talk about. But it it was wonderful to just take a moment and just relive the past last night, because I can't help it. When I go to a marching band competition, and they even had a baton twirler, it was so great. And she twirled 3. I only briefly did 2. I was impressed. But since it was all of a sudden a chilly evening, she dropped it often, because what people don't realize, when you're a baton twirler and it gets chilly, your hands don't work as well when they're cold. And when that baton hits it, oh, sometimes it hurts. I don't know if I told you this, but I marched in Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, and they had snow on the ground. And we wore what was like a one-piece sequin bathing suit. It was cold. So I learned at that point how just to shut off and not feel your body, because if you did, but I mean, you felt like ice by the time we got off the field. But so I looked at her with a lot of empathy, even though it was in the 50s there and not the 30s or the 20s. I still had a ton of empathy, because when you've been practicing in the warmth and all of a sudden you have a cold evening, everything changes. I got to tell you, this one band, it was so cute. I'm trying to remember they were doing The Wizard of Oz. And at one point, they laid on the ground and then they played their instruments while they were laying on the ground. I've never seen that before. I have a feeling they were the band that got first place, because they did some really cool tricks and had really good music too. So, anyway, but it does my heart good. I think the reason that Mark and I were in such a good mood when we got home is it is really, truly good to see all of these teenagers on a Saturday evening spending their time working hard to make their band the best it can be. To see the parents that come to set all the equipment up on the field, to see the parents and the grandparents and even great grandparents in the football stands, all freezing but cheering on their loved ones. It's a good thing. I mean, it's Americana at its best. And you know what? That's a good thing. That is a very good thing. I told Mark, we have to be careful not to get so lost in the news that we stop enjoying our life, because you know what? The clock is ticking. If you take time to stay in anger, that's time you don't get back. So it was, I think, all in all, it was a good evening. We stopped by, oh, I do have a complaint. We stopped by Dario on the way home to get something to eat because we were starving. They forgot our milkshakes. So we got all the way home. Normally we don't get the sodas, we just get the meal and milkshakes, and we come home and have iced tea or whatever. But anyway, but they gave us the sodas that came with the meal, and it totally didn't dawn on us. Oh, those were sodas, not milkshakes. So Mark called him back after. I said, let's eat while the food is hot and then we'll figure it out. And it was too far to drive to go back and pick up just milkshakes. So he worked it out that he was going to go pick them up today. But that's the only bad thing that happened. And if that's the worst thing that can happen, life's pretty good. So tonight I will make a point to enjoy that milkshake. So, because whoever knew I'd pay that much for a milkshake? I can remember as a kid, banana splits being 99 cents and thinking, oh, I wish I could afford one, but they're so expensive. And now when you pay $5 or $6 for a milkshake, it's like, are you kidding me? But the good news, we saw on their sign that they're hiring from $13 to $22 an hour. And you know, all of us hate these higher prices, but I'm so tickled that finally we're increasing the wages for people because you've got to make a living wage. So anyway, it's all good. Let's see who is here. Okay. It's so Melton was the first person here. In fact, Melton, why don't, soon as I read off who is here, let's go do our show and tell to show you. Oh, because it's 10 o'clock where you are. Yes, I think that's time. Marcia, hi, beautiful lady, Marcia. Barbara Smith is here. Oh, it's so good to see you, Barbara Smith. And our Mary, I've been missing her. I knew she was planning, she was working on the house and stuff and getting ready for company, but I've been missing her. I'm sure y'all have too. Her bubbly spirit. We've been missing. So good. It's good to see you back, Mary. Because if you don't show up, I'm going to hunt you down, girl. I'm going to hunt you down, bring you back. Sonia is here. The quilter extraordinaire is in the building. That is wonderful. Okay, let's see who else. Oh, Betty Meisner's here. Hello, darling. Oh, I love how Mary put fall icons by her message. I love that. Jody is here. Are you? Oh, yes, it is chilly. Oh, no, the furnace doesn't work. Oh, no. Well, I tell you what, get making a blanket real fast, girlfriend. Last night I took my new spool of yarn and a crochet needle, but I didn't end up working on it. But I thought, why couldn't I have had that more worked on so I could put it around to me? So, oh, I understand that. Okay. It's so good to see our Jody. Lisa is here. Hi, Lisa, darling. This is great. And you know what, Lisa? The hotel charged me the first night on my credit card. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to them kind of just making sure it's a good card. But to charge the whole first night, that kind of bothered me. Anyway, oh, good, Marcia. Your landlord checked on the heater. Yay. Debbie is here. Debbie is back from her visit to Houston, and I have something I have to mail to her. I better get busy on that this week. But we're glad she's back, and I can't wait. I've got to go read her email and find out all the good stuff that she had. And I appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm leaning down so much. I'm wearing a headband, and every time I smile, the headband tries to scoot back on this giant head of mine. And Cheryl is here. She got back from a Detroit Coleman race. Oh, Oh my gosh, it was so cold. Whoa, you're so good. Our Cheryl is such a supporter of the race for a cure, breast cancer research. And she knows Debbie Dingle. I love that. I love that. And I got to tell Debbie Dingle, I love her blue eyeshadow. That is so her. I just love that. When I see it, I smile. Oh, but you've been to Mount Airy, Cheryl Hogan. Yes, it's like the Andy Griffith Motor Inn, the Andy Griffith Highway, um, Aunt B's restaurant, all this, and I meant to take pictures. I took a couple pictures of Pilot Mountain. And Pilot Mountain is an upshoot of a special, probably granite, that the rest of the soil has washed away. And so you've got this funny jutting thing up. Well, if any of you have watched the Andy Griffith show, you heard him talk about Mount Pilot all the time. Well, it's Pilot Mountain. And pilot was an ancient term, meaning it was a visual place marker. It was a visual landmark that people would know where they were. So that's what Pilot Mountain means. And one day it has a road that goes most of the way up. You can't really go up on the granite monolith itself, but they have a park that's right up there. So I'll have to film that and take y'all up there. And in fact, lately I've been thinking I would love to show you around our beautiful city because it really is nice. So I might be taking some little trips around and just filming and some of the really unique and beautiful parts of our city. So now let's see. Back to Laura's here. Yay, Laura. Yay. Let me see. I love how y'all are friends and know each other. I love all the chatting you do. That's wonderful. Oh, and don't forget, our Jody has agreed to do the flying monkeys. And Polly, I know, is very excited. So, oh, it's so good to see you. I'm hoping I'm not missing anyone. I'm trying to go through quickly. But please know, anytime I want y'all to chat. You can always watch it again if there's something I said that you missed. I love that we are a community. Virtual or none, we're a community and I love that y'all enjoy seeing each other. Lisa was in the marching band too. That's right. They are the best memories. Oh, this is wonderful. Ooh, Wachita Mountains. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, Mary, but that's nice. Yes, I looked for a necklace to kind of go with this. I'll be honest, I was in such a hurry. This was laying on my chair in my room. I hadn't hung it back up from the last time I wore it a week or more ago. So I said, looks good enough to me. Pulled it over my head, slapped the necklace on, and here I am. So anyway, I love the colors in this, and I love the Madras plaid. But I have to be honest, it looks a little bit like a circus tent, but I still love it. I made it. I love it. So, oh yeah, oh, I know. I love the Andy Griffith show. It just it's just a mythical place and time where everything made sense, right? Mitty is here. Alberta's here too. Yay! Oh, this is great. Oh, Svetlana is here, honey. We still have our flag right there. I'm getting tired of waiting for this. And right now, I'm very angry that a certain party in Congress wants to cut funding. Don't worry. We are not going to let that happen. The majority, 80% of the American people say we need to support this and help them in that war and push them back where they belong. So we're for Svetlana. We are for you, hon. So, oh, this is so nice to see. Regal Rose is here too. Well, this is going to be a party. I love this. Okay, so what we're first going to do, since we have our Meltem here from Turkey and we have Svetlana from Ukraine, let's go do show and tell. And now I'm going to be honest. Um, Melton, feel free to fill in. I saw all of your description of the pictures, and I was hoping I'd have time today to write them down so I can tell you what they are. I just didn't. I will have them for next week when we do it, because I'm going to have to print out yours and SJ's information and read it while I'm showing you the pictures. But for today, I didn't have time. So feel free, you can tell them whatever it is. But actually, I was saving the pictures a couple at a time. So when we watch it today, I'm going to be watching it too. So that's going to be fun. All right, let me turn the camera around and we're going to do show and tell right now. So if somebody comes in late, tell them it's not the end of the show. Don't worry, that we're just doing it out of order today in honor of all the work Melton did to share her country with us. We're so lucky, everybody. We're so, so lucky. And you know what? The world is not as big as you think. We're all in this together. All right. So now what I'm going to do, go to the folder, pick. All righty. Now let me see. Oh, let's stop by. Anne's on the way. She has been so busy. Oh my goodness. She is a fiend with those ink tints. Here is her inspiration leaf, and look at the gorgeous leaf she did. She's a very good artist. That is really nice. I'm so tickled for her. And look at this beautiful, beautiful lampshade. She wants us to try to make this. I'm not sure where she found the pictures, but I think these are a great idea. So we'll put that on the to-do list. Here's a beautiful rose that our Anne did. Look at this flower garden and birdhouses Anne did. Then here's the pattern she did for her paper piece blocks. And I'll show you, and just look at the delicate little vase of flowers. Doesn't her work have a sweet, innocent joy about it? It just makes me happy. I smile every time I see her work. So here we go. Here are all of her blocks that she made. And she told me after she laid these out just like she wanted, I think her dog came over and mussed them all up. Here is what we call the cigar tree. It's a catalpa, and I love seeing that. Thanks for sending. We love all that kind of stuff. And now look at the quilt that she put together with all her paper piece blocks. And you know, I always said that I wasn't sure about scrappy quilts, and then I look at this and go, I love that. I love it. And I love the way she shaded things, and one color goes into another. And then here is more leaves that she's done recently. And I mean, they are very, very good. Very good. And she even did shadows. This woman's an artist. That is terrific. Way to go, Miss Anne. So now let's go see whose photos we're going to look at. Betty Meisner sent me a couple new, or three, I think. Well, no, two ones. Look at this wonderful sailboat quilt. And now what, I know this is a half square triangle. What is that? Isn't that neat? That's like, I don't know, a quarter corner triangle block. But isn't that wonderful? And by doing that, it makes the cutest sailboat. So love, love, love that. And I love a good old 9-patch. Aren't they great? I tell you what, I should make another 9-patch quilt. 9-patches and rail fences are just really wonderful quilts. Now, I love this. This is a mystery quilt. So it's got a bookshelf with mystery books on it. And then I love the female detective. Look at this with the little eyes popping out. And then look, the film noir kind of looking women over there. And her fabric has all kinds of little um, magnifying glasses. So that is awesome. So thank you, Miss Betty, for sending us those. That is great. We love it. Any of you who want to send in your work, please do. Just send it to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com, and we will show yours as well. Now, here is BB's beautiful needlepoint that she sent us last week. I love these. Love these. I always wanted to do needlepoint. I have a problem keeping my attention span long enough because this is meticulous, beautiful work. And look at this with the horses on it. She did these as a teenager. Very talented. Look at that. Now, BB right now is over visiting family in her home country of Iran. So I'm hoping she's enjoying herself. It's so nice to be able to see family. Then here is a gorgeous lacy crocheted lace tablecloth. So intricate. Here it is on the table. So thank you, Miss BB, and have a good, safe trip. Enjoy your family. All right, let's see now where we're going. Oh, Miss Bonnie. Yep, she's been very busy, and here is what she got done this past month. I love how she's so organized about her stuff, and she must feel a good sense of accomplishments. So she belongs in either block exchanges or blocks of the month. And then this is a table runner that she's going to use for the holidays. So that's lovely. Way to go, Miss Bonnie. Okay, now let me see. I don't think I really have anything. Let me see. No, nothing new. I have some, but they're still on my phone, so I'll show you those in a bit. Okay, now Debbie. Debbie did send us, I think, two new ones. I love this. And isn't that a wonderful fall quilt? You know, there is something to us after a hot summer. We do love. Mark just brought me down all of my fall decorations, and I hope to get them up this week. But aren't those beautiful colors? I just love it. Pumpkins and leaves and sunflowers. Love it. Speaking of sunflowers, Mark went today to get some more black oiled sunflower seed that we use for our outdoor birds. I hope the prices have come down a little. But this one's lovely. It's a Halloween quilt, and it's so cute. Let me see how big I can get it so you can see some of the whimsical items on the fabric. They're really cute. I love this. And I love this fabric with the diamonds. Isn't that pretty? That is really nice. I saw some fabric the other day in a sale catalog or sale thing, and it was mosaic. And I thought, oh, that is really pretty. And I thought, well, how would you use it? But I just loved it. Oh, Diana's Sewing Inventions. She has been busy too. I tell you what, I'm thinking that she and our Anne might want to look into joining SAQA at one point, and that is Studio Art Quilt Association. So, but they support and encourage art quilts. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So I'm going to have to find out how Diane made that. Okay, here's another view of it. It's Queen Anne's lace, and she's making this as fiber art for her son's bedroom. And I think that is it's just gorgeous. And she's done some painting with acrylics, and oh, it's just beautiful. So I want her to tell us exactly how she made it. Gorgeous. So very, very nice. Okay. We've got some talented people in this group. Miss Dolores. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I'm not going to show all of these little artworks because we've shown them the last several weeks. But she sent, since we're doing portrait quilts, She sent us examples from her portfolio. Look at this wonderful cat. Her thread painting and delineating the fur. Look at those eyes. Look at the nose. The whiskers. I would love to know, how does she do that? Isn't that wonderful? Isn't she talented? And I love the blue background, because think about it. It's an orange cat. The complementary color, which means the color opposite the color wheel, is blue. So isn't that dramatic that she chose that background? And I love, she just did straight stitching quilting. So it's there. It complements, but it doesn't overshadow the main focus, which is this big, beautiful orange tabby cat. Now she's got another one I want to share with you. And here we go. Look at this kitty. Another great pair of eyes. Gosh, that is a look at the tufting in the ears. Now I know that she uses Faline thread, or Filene thread. You can look it up, and it's a thread that you stitch it in place. Then you take a coarse brush and you gently brush it, and it will fuzz up. She also uses other fibers and Angelina fibers, but that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I would love to know how she gets the dots in the whiskers of the cat. But a lovely, lovely work. Way to go. So thank you. Our Dolores is a professional artist. She's amazing. All right. Then Miss Jody is finishing up her King Kong, her Matinee Monster Idols series, and Miss Polly asked her to do the flying monkeys. So, oh, we love this. Love it. Okay, now let me see who is next. I'm trying to think of what Miss Mary. I think her first quilt was her most recent. Grommy is dreaming he's chasing something. But can you imagine this being your first quilt? Beautiful, beautiful, talented lady. All right, now we're going to go back. And Marsha Hahn made this wonderful bed runner. And think about that too. If you're anxious to make something, but you don't have time to make a whole bedspread, consider making a bed runner. It can change the look of your bed without spending much money or taking too much time. And that's lovely. That's a good old courthouse steps. I love it. Okay. Now, her doggy blanket. Ah, I love this. She's the one who inspired me to make a garland for my mantle. And just, isn't that sweet? I love the pumpkins. And I'm trying to see what they're made of. I'm not sure, but the decoration and the little strand of lights, and even the wonderful farm quilt behind it. Isn't that great? That's a beautiful vignette. In fact, we should talk about that. I was just reading an article about Huga Crow. And so we'll talk about Huga Crow and how you can add that to your life. She made this arrangement on a rake, made the bunnies, painted the baby gourds. I love it. Way to go. Way to go, our new Marsha. All right, now let me see. Are you ready for Miss Melton? Drum roll, please. Now, for right now, I'm going to show you all the pictures. Next week, I will make sure to have the descriptions to go with them. Look at this. So I know that she must have gone to an exhibit, and I love the colors. Oh, look at the cow. That's cute. Beautiful fabrics, beautiful colors, and some whimsy. some fun along with it. Ah, I love those intense fabrics. Oh, wow. Look at this sculpture. So this was definitely at a museum. Oh, my goodness. So is it like war or plowshares? Or do you take the metal from the weapons of war and turn them into plowshares? But that's an impactful sculpture. Oh, look at that wood carving. Beautiful. And I'm looking at some of the crocheted items on the table. I can't wait to read what all these are about. Oh, look at the chenille bedspread. That is gorgeous. I love it. I've never seen that fancy of chenille. Oh, this is pretty. Looks like leaves encased in fall spider webs. That's beautiful. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Somehow, hold on. Let me go back. Okay. And we go forward again. I started it. There we go. Oh, look at all of this. So this must be a type of art show, craft fair. Ah, do you see what this is? This is Bargello done with needlepoint. And that's what I was telling you is the quilts came later. The needlepoint Bargello came first. And you can see why it's also named flame stitch. And then up in here, there is more of the, I just said the word, now I forgot, chenille. More chenille work. I bet you that will um, soften the edges. But I love how it shows the fabric underneath. Great applique. Oh, look. That's beautiful. And that's all hand quilted, I'm seeing. Wow. The easy way you can tell whether it's hand quilted or machine quilted stitches all touch. Hand quilting has a little space. Now, I've heard there may be a machine that can emulate it, but most of the time that's the way to tell. Oh, look at this. I'm wondering, that means something. I'm not sure what. So this, I'll make sure. Oh, look at this. That is all these different fibers. I can't wait to read what fibers those are. Art can be so many things. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at that. Look at these garments, quilts. So I will make sure to read her information. So next week we'll know just what we're looking at. It looks just like one of our quilt shows, doesn't it? Oh, look at that. Beautiful garments, tapestries. Oh my. Look at that pottery. Remember this is Turkey, the birthplace of so much civilization. Oh, they have forgotten more things than we ever knew about. That is amazing. All the different skills and trades, like the work hanging on the wall within the beautiful porcelain. Oh, that's sweet. That looks like a dove. Maybe that's meaning peace. Beautiful. Oh, look at this. Interesting. Stamps. Oh, they're gorgeous stamps. Oh, wow. There's stamped fabric. That's beautiful. Oh, look at this. Look how they've decorated animal skulls. Wow. Oh, look at that beautiful sculpture. Art is powerful, and each society has their art, and it's just beautiful. That is gorgeous. I get so excited when I see these things because it gives me ideas. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I'd like to do that. That looks like a hooked rug. Yes, that is hooking with the type of yarn. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, wow. Look at that. Carved wood and then beautifully painted. Oh my goodness, look at that desk. That is, you do that because you love the work. That is absolutely stunning. Oh, look at this. My goodness, it looks like a natural rope and then it's painted. Oh, how awesome. And this instrument looks very similar to a bagpipe, but I don't know what it's called. I love the angels. Oh, this is beautiful. This, I'm trying to decide. I think it is a rug hooking as well. Mm. Oh, wow. Yep, these are rugs that are made, tufted rugs. Mm-mm-mm. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now look at that hand stitching and the knot making, or maybe it's a punch needle. That is beautiful. And at some point in our art quilt, I'd like to do a landscape that is accented with simple hand stitching because it's so beautiful and effective. Love it. Oh my goodness. This is a moth. Look, both of these are moths. Oh, that's amazing. So those are weavings, and I'm impressed. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Who would have thought insects could be that gorgeous? Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. That's another weaving. Oh my goodness. Look at this. And this is where you set up to do the weaving, and then you can use all different kinds fabric strips, yarns to do the weaving, and that's beautiful. Oh, look at that. Michelangelo's. That's beautiful. Mm, beautiful. Oh, wow. Look at that. These something. Wonderful weavings. This, here we go with some rug hooking in there and weaving. Wow. One of the ways that anthropologists know at at what point is a society self-sufficient and successful is by artwork, because it's only when you have time and you're safe and you have enough resources that then you can go and invest in artwork. That's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like tree roots. That's just beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Mm, such talent in this world. Look at those trees. You've got the roots hanging down here and then the tops. Isn't that wonderful? Oh my goodness. Look at that. I don't even know. It might be like a scrappy quilt. I'm not sure. Or weaving. Beautiful. Oh, look at this. I love seeing different countries' works because each have their own view, their lens on the world, their life experience. Look at this, Michael Jackson, and I forgot the guy. I forgot Bob Marley, maybe. I'm not sure. That's wonderful. Look at that. Oh, look at those pets. They probably saved animal fur to actually make those. Amazing. Look at that. Oh, delicate cherry blossoms or apple blossoms. I'm not sure which one. That's beautiful. So delicate. Oh, look at this beaded work. That is beautiful. Oh, look at this. A, a doll made to look like a peasant woman, a farmer woman. And then look at this bust here and that doll. Hush. Oh, wow. That is amazing. Isn't that beautiful? I'd like to try some more doll making. Oh my goodness. That is exquisite. Oh, wow. Look at the tiny gloves. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Mm. She must have had so much fun. Look at these dolls on a swing. Oh, yes. I maybe after in the new year we'll try some more doll making. Look at that outfit. That is beautiful. Mm. And actually, I love this. I love all the different patching from different weavings put together. That is gorgeous. Oh, that's pretty. Very pretty. Mm-mm-mm. So hopefully you had things you could buy at this wonderful show. Oh, look. Look at that applique. I mean, embroidery. Mm. Makes me want to get out my antique linens and do some hand embroidery on them. Oh, look at these fabrics. Just beautiful. Look at that blouse. Oh my goodness. And the village along the hem. And then the animals that are crocheted below it. That is gorgeous. And look, just how dramatic is it? Just taking the yarn and doing a big stitch like that. That's beautiful. Now, boy, it gets my mind whirring. I want to try something like that. Oh, look at this. It looks like fabric cut away and then joined with like crochet lace. That is just beautiful. There's we have an American hobby that's very rare now, but it's called hardanger. And you would take like a piece of linen and you carefully either pull back the stitches to create an opening or carefully cut some few little stitches part of the weave to open up little openings. I knew a woman who did it because she was trying to learn all of the fastly dying hand arts, and she did one, and she said never again. It was so labor intensive. Look at that, and oh, look at the leather work. Look at the rugs, the tapestries. Oh, beautiful. I love woven items. I can't wait to see what Miss Polly is going to make next with her loom. Look at this. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That bolero jacket with the gold hand embroidery. Ooh, love it. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. Look at this weaving a rug. Look at the leather work. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's beautiful. Is that painting? Or I think it's needlepoint. I think it's a kind of hand needlework. Beautiful. Oh, look, you know what this is? You know what this is? This is where they take tiny little nails and then you use beautiful thread and you by going back and forth and across and all of that, using the nails, you I'm trying to remember what it's called, but I used to do this with my children when they were little. Put a bunch of nails in a shape and let them fill it in with yarn or whatever. This, though, that's exquisite. It's so delicate. And look how they purposely weave it across the center. That is beautiful. It's a kind of weaving with nails on a board. Oh, wow. Look at that room setup. I love it. That is indigo, indigo plus indigo. And you know, indigo is my new favorite. But then look at the needlework on the back of the chairs. Wow, this is gorgeous. I can't imagine so many things. The needlework on the hand embroidery on the wall. Wow, look at that. And that rug is gorgeous. And you know what? I bet you they're made with reclaimed blue jean clothing. And who would have thought? Look at that. Maybe that's something we can do. Put that on our list. We'll go and collect old jeans and make something beautiful out of it. And I love that this has the shape of the bag has the shape of a woman. Isn't that great? Ah, there we go. Now we're getting into oh, now I just went out of my head again, but the Japanese stitching, the large stitches that they use to repair things, I love that. I'm going to start at some point doing a Boro jacket, so I'll be doing stitches like that. Oh, look at this. It looks like one of the dervish, um they call whirling dervish, that's part of a religious ceremony. Look at that. Beautiful. And I love, look at the finely woven placemats. Mm. Oh my goodness. I would take any one of those rugs and treasure them. Oh, wow. All hand woven. Oh, look at the colors and how intricate the patterns. I can't, that is true art. Oh, this is cute. I'm trying to remember, is it called Ami or something where they're taking people are now crocheting animals and figures or knitting them or crocheting either one? That is so cute. Oh, look at these beautiful scarves. So decorated. Mm. Crocheted flowers and leaves and ribbons. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Mm. Look at this. That almost has a look of a little bit Mongolian. That's, just when you look at a country like Turkey that's surrounded by so many iconic countries, and it makes you wonder, did some of the other influences come in, or did the Turkish influences go out into the other countries? Absolutely beautiful. But now we would call this Greek key design. So that's why I say the world is getting smaller and smaller because we have so many things in common and we borrow from each other and we give to each other. Oh, wow. That looks like an Attila the Hun doll. Amazing. But I love the folk dolls in their bright colors. Oh, that's beautiful. Mm, very talented makers. Oh, this is beautiful. Ah, look at that hand quilted pillow. Beautiful. And then look at this beautiful box. And it's a wooden carved box. And I don't know if that's just painted or is it inlay work. Mm. Oh, look at the yarn puffs hanging down. Wouldn't that be pretty garland? Beautiful. The weavings, the rugs. Oh my. Leather work. Look at that. All cut, stamped, pressed, painted leathers. Oh, look at that quilt. I love that. Oh, look at this. This is felted art. Oh, I love this. I'll have to send this one to my daughter, who also is an art felter. Oh, how cute. Look at these dolls. They're precious. Oh my gosh. Mm, beautiful outfit. Pottery. I love the furniture. Oh, I would love this in my living room. Look at that pottery. Mm-mm-mm. I guess you could call that a totem of type. Oh, beautiful pottery. And see how it has a similar look to Southwestern. That's beautiful. Oh, look at this. This is a weaver. Oh my goodness. I want to show that again. This is wonderful to be able to see her actually making. You can see her pattern up here. Here are all her different color yarns. Then she has, this must serve to poke the holes and to pack things, although she probably has a comb somewhere. Look at all these. I mean, I don't know how in the world she does it. Now, knowing all of that, let's watch that again. Isn't that gorgeous? Thank you so much, Malcolm. Oh my goodness. Please share your appreciation with Melton, because this has been a marvelous, marvelous show. Oh my goodness. How fantastic. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, and our last person today is, oops, wait a minute. Let me see. Let me go to Nancy Lynn real quick, and then we'll go to SJ. So Nancy Lynn has been doing some felt art, just like you saw in that show. And there's a special pillow, and you take a multi-needle tool, and you take dyed tufts of wool, and you press it with the multi-pointed tool into the base, and that gives you a felted work. Here, we'll go through and see her beautiful artwork. I love this. Oh, that's so beautiful. Mm. And I love the rope edging. I love all the handwork on it. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. Good job imitating that stone. And I love all of her seagrasses are, these are yarns. They're just straight pieces of yarn, some sewn fabric, and all of this are hand sewn fronds. hand embroidered. I would be lost without my art and my craft, and seeing this just makes me happy. Look at the elephants. Oh, here's more of her felted art. Here is her machine. And so what it has a tool that fits in that has, I don't know, maybe somewhere between 4 and 6 needles. And it has a cage around it because it would be very easy to get your finger caught in that. And then you just run your fabric and your wool roving wherever you want to put that color. So that is felting with a machine. You can also do it by hand. Oh, this is beautiful. And I love the way she captured the reflection in that pond. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. And that's the metallic paints that I love as well. Isn't that pretty? So you draw it, you stitch it, quilt it, then you paint it. And I love that. Oh, so thank you so much, Nancy Lynn. And now let's go to Miss SJ. Finally, I know that she probably thought I would never show her pictures. What she did, I'm going to start off with this one. She went to a castle in England called uh, Arundel Castle. This castle is 1,000 years old. It was started in 1069 or 59, and different parts were added. There was one part that was added like 10 years later. But here in America, now I know Melton, she would go, okay, so it's 1,000 years old. But to us, this is unbelievable. And I can tell by the way it's designed, it has Norman influences. And that right there, the Norman invasion would mean it was built sometime around the year 1000. So, isn't this incredible? So, now what I'm going to do is go backwards and show you different things from this castle. And next week I will give you more of the information of who built it, and what little bit more about the history. But look at that. And that's very much Norman influences. And when you see all these little windows, see these little narrow slit windows? This was built as a fortification to protect the people living inside. And so they had lots of windows that they could point arrows out of and protect there. And then up here, you would walk along and you could see for miles to see if anyone were coming to threaten your castle, your home. All right. And look at that. Now, this is called the keep. And the way it's built up, it has a spiral staircase, very tight, very steep inside of it. She said she walked up the 131 steps, narrow, circular, very high steps to get up to the keep. Like, wow. And with the openings, then they were able to better protect and bring weapons in to fight away anyone invading. Look at this beautiful pond and those flowers. And guess what? I don't know what kind of flowers they are, but they're beautiful. Isn't that pretty? So next week, I'll have more information about what all of this is, how it's made. Look at that cathedral. Is that amazing? It's hard to believe that people had the ability that long ago to make such incredible, incredible buildings. Before running water, before any of that, they could make those buildings. Just gorgeous. This is a floating crown. So evidently the water pressure keeps it suspended. But I will also, it looks like this is a statue of Mary. So maybe that's Mary's crown. I'm not sure, but I will make sure to find out before next week. Then this is, look at this grotto, and above the grotto is the floating crown. So I will find out more about this. I assume this is where the spring, the well from the spring comes in. And look at that roof. Let me enlarge this. The beautiful woodworking in this ceiling. Oh my gosh. It is amazing. And the engineering that went into not only making this beautiful stained glass arch window, the ceiling, the height of these ceilings, the engineering that went into that is, it's mind-boggling to me. It truly, truly is. It is absolutely genius. Look at this ancient tapestry. Back then, all these, like when you see the beautiful Turkish rugs or hear about Persian rugs and all of that and tapestries, they were hung on the wall. They were to help keep out the cold air. And think of it, if the house were stone, if the house was drafty and you hang these on the wall, it really did lend comfort and acted as decoration and art. And I have no idea how old that is, but I'm sure it's ancient. Beautiful. Look at this. Let me bring this one larger as well. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So much to see in the world. And we can't all just jump in and go to these different countries. But with people like SJ, with people like Melton, they bring the world to us, and we're so much richer for it. So thank you, everyone. That was quite an adventure, wouldn't you say? So I thank them from the bottom of my heart, because it makes this show so much more interesting and full of beauty. And I feel a little smarter even. And oh, one thing I wanted to tell everyone, let me come back to you. One thing I wanted to tell everyone is, on our group site, we were talking about knowledge and making sure that you get the correct information. So when you give information out, it's correct as you can make it. Well, I have to correct myself. I was talking about turkey red, which was made from madder. And and yes, it made it much cheaper. And I was also telling them that before madder was used, the best reds came from cochineal, which is a little bug that lives in a tree in South America. And they have to collect like 10,000 bugs, crush them up. Their shell, their body, their exoskeleton makes the color. When they crush them, they get a beautiful red dye. The only problem with cochineal and madder is they can run. This is why, so I did a little bit more research, because I was like, I know that red work and red and white quilts came about the third quarter of the 19th century. And that's because, and this is the one I failed to tell you, I talked about madder and red work and all of that, but it was when they discovered how to use alizarin. Okay, everyone's probably heard of alizarin crimson. That became a really a more economical, more trustworthy dye. And that's when even more red work came out to be. You could kind of trust it, it was stable. And that's when the red and white quilts started being made. Because you can imagine, red is a tricky color. And I made a hand quilt, all handmade, and had to wash it because soda was spilled on it. And when I washed it, the reds ran. So it is a tricky color to make sure it's stable. So it's alizarin. Well, you have to be careful. People who work with strong paint pigments, especially in oil paints, Yeah, they have some toxic benefits. When you are dyeing fabric, you should wear a respirator. But once it's dyed, even with the alizarin, um, it's dyed and properly then washed. That is fine and stable. But I tell you what, when she was the woman in the thing I was talking about mentioned poison green, Mark and I watched an amazing British show talking about it was, I think, called the 1900 House. And they were talking about the greens that they loved so much in the paint and wallpapers and fabrics were made of arsenite, which is arsenic, which is poisonous. And people got sick and died from the colors. So, I know in our lifetime, they've had to work on which food colors were safer or should you avoid them altogether. So, anyway, yeah, the crushed bugs are something else, aren't they? But and then you want to talk about history. This is fascinating because at certain points in history, the color purple was considered the royal color, and no one else could use it. But understand, if it came from mixing a really beautiful blue and cochineal from crushed bug bodies to make that purple, that was an expensive, time consuming, labor intensive process. And so then you start understanding how certain colors um, had significance at certain times. And I'll give you another little hint that in the 19th century, there was a period of time that red and green quilts were very popular. I think it was like the middle of the 19th century. And when we look at them today, they look kind of brownish and green. Or sometimes you'll have a crazy quilt and some of the satins have the silks have disintegrated, because it's not just whether the dye works, but you have to have something called a mordant, Mordant. That's what sets the dye. Okay. And they've used all kinds of urine has been used as a mordant. All urea is still in some dye cases used as a mordant that sets the color, makes it color fast. So there have been certain colors to get that color, and the mordant they used ended up dissolving the fabric over time. But you'll notice a lot of the old red and green quilts, depending on the fabric, the dye used, and the mordant used to set the dye, they might turn to brown. And that was not what they started out. They were a lot brighter. So, okay, I've got lots of stuff to show you. But anyway, if you have any questions about that, but I just wanted to tell you, I forgot to add in alizarin crimson, which came in the third quarter to the turn of the century, and that really got red work going and red and white quilts. All right, for now, and let me see. Okay, let me start. I'll go back. Let me go back to this. You remember I told you I'd be working on this? Well, I finished it. Also, the shape of it was bothering me. Let me go ahead and take it down really quickly. The shape was bothering me because Mark said it looks like it's supposed to be a Christmas stocking. So, what I did is I reworked the shape of it to make it look a little less like a Christmas stocking, but still having it be a free-form shape. Then I took the twine, stitched it onto the back, and then looped it and tied it around. Now, I'm going to tell you, make sure when you tie it around the stick that you double knot it, because if you just single knot it like I did here, it tends to loosen up. And then if you move it around a lot, then you've got to reorganize the strings. But I just made sure to hang it so that it took in the curve of the stick. I changed the bottom of it to follow the flowers a little better. This is very much a 3D quilt. It's definitely got dimension, and I like it. So that one is fully done. Well, I need to put a label on the back. So, and that's another thing. I finish so few things, I forget about putting labels on them. That's going to change. Then on Thursdays, we're busy doing our portrait quilt. And so I'm doing a portrait. Here's what the original picture that I trimmed and pasted and enlarged Russell here so they were closer to the same side. Then I took and made a pattern, which is this. And you see, I posterized it and made it into 6 shades, definable shades. And then here's where I have gotten as by Thursday night. So it's coming together. I'm learning so much from Miss Jody. And I actually am looking forward to working on that. I think it's going to be such a wonderful gift for their parents, my son and his wife, for Christmas. So I'm excited. All right. Then the other thing I've been working on, because every week I'm going to be working on a UFO, I finished all 4 borders with the stems on them. And today, depending on if we have time, I'll show you how I'm going to attach the flowers that are going to go on top of these stems. Because once again, here is the quilt. And it's Alex Anderson's Neutral Blooms quilt. And I love it. I can't wait to finish it. So that I got two of those borders. I got the stems stitched fully. They're ready to go. So once I glue down the flowers, then I can sit in the evening and I can stitch the flowers into place. Then it's put the borders, the little inner border, then those borders around it. Then I quilt it, then quilt it, bind it. That'll be done. So I'm looking forward to it. This is my new thing. I finally got it through my head that I'm not going to live forever, so I better finish stuff. So last week, I haven't worked on this at all, but last week I was working on making my own version of the garland for the mantelpiece. I haven't done any work on that, but I brought it down just in case we had extra time. But let me show you, if you weren't here last week, let me show you really quickly. This is a fully finished piece. It just needs to be sewn to the twine and hung up on the mantle. These are all felt. Most of them are real wool felt. A few are a cheaper acrylic felt. But once I get these sewn, I'm putting burlap on the back of them, which I loved seeing that because it was like, what a great idea. Then I will take the twine, put a little bow on it. Whoops, this way. So I got 2 of these. And I put scraps of batting so that when I put the back on, they'll have a little dimension. I think this is going to be a sweet garland. And thank you, because I put this show on, I'm making so many wonderful things that I will enjoy year after year. And look at these. Is that the cutest? I don't want to see the oak tree for these acorns. And then a white pumpkin and another leaf. So but I want to get these finished and on the mantle. When I get them on the mantle, I will take a picture for you. I love decorating. Love, love, love decorating for the season. Last week, cute little Joni. Oh, there she is again. Hello, Joni. I loved reading her comment of, oh, I can't look. Because what I did is I was making a big art piece out of these paper piece blocks. And I decided to, when I turn it into a triptych, which is a 3-piece artwork, that I was going to cut it with curves. So I sat here and drew it in front of y'all and then took my big scissors and just cut it. And she was like, oh, I can't watch. I thought that was so cute. Joni, you made me laugh out loud. So here is, I only have one more row to go. I was trying so hard to get this finished today and I just couldn't. I had to make like 20 last blocks. I had to even print out some more of the papers. So, whoops, the mountains were upside down. So here it is. And here is the moon. And so when you see it put back together, you've got the sun setting and the moon rising. Whoops, here it is. And then I need to make one more cut today. So, but I am going to put one more row on it. And I've got just a couple little tweaking things to do. Not everything matches up just the way I want. What I've decided, since I work on a deadline trying to get things finished to show you, my work isn't as careful because I just have to be quick. So that's fine. But like, see right here, it looks like the moon has kind of got a wart or something on it. I'm going to take a piece of blue fabric and I'm just going to hand applique it to make the moon more round again. So I'm going to come in and wherever it's a little ziggity zaggity, I'm just going to applique a piece over it and it'll be fine. And so now, real quickly, I'm going to decide where I'm going to make the next cut. And hopefully Joni doesn't have to close her eyes this time because she saw me do it last week. And then luckily, nothing bad happened. I got so tickled though, because I thought, sometimes you just got to go for it here. What can you do? All right. So once again, I am going to decide where I'm cutting it. This one had pretty much 1, 2, 3, 3.5 to 4 rows. Okay. I kind of like things symmetrical. It might not be perfect, but what I think I'm going to do, I think that I'm going, actually, that's going to make this one bigger. Maybe I'll put a row in between, but maybe it's okay if it's bigger. They don't all have to matchy. But I don't want to break my moon up, I don't think. Should I break my moon up or not? And wait till the next pride. The very next thing we're going to talk about, yay, is something really fun that I'm going to share with you. But here was the original inspiration. I put a mountain range below it and moved the sun here and put a moon up here. But I guess it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical. So I'm going to come in here and I don't want it to be the same as what I already did. Okay, so then I will start off this way, where this is going like this. This one will do opposite. So this side right here is coming in. So this one's going to come out. So I'm going to come here. I like it. So let's see. Here is my curved line. I like it very much. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So, Joni, you're warned. So, here I come. I'm going to cut it right along here. Mark really doesn't understand. You cut up all those fabrics to paper piece, then you sew them all together, and now you're cutting it again. Yep. That is art. And it's fun. It is fun. Didn't you ever cut your doll's hair? My kids cut their hair, their fingertips off, their toes off of their Barbie dolls. So now I've got no turning back. You're right. So now I've got 3 triptych sections, and I need to figure out how to. I love the purple mountains on the bottom. I just think that's gorgeous. I need to figure out how I'm going to hang them. I already made my decision on the binding. Look at this gorgeous dark, dark red binding. And each piece will be bound, and then they'll be lined up something like this, and across they'll go. So there we go. Hopefully by next week, I'll have them quilted. And I've decided on my long arm, I'm going to quilt them all 3. I'm going to have this section on, followed by this section, followed by this section. And that way I can continue the quilting pattern across all 3. So, isn't that kind of cool? I like it. I have been very happy with with how it's cut and coming out. This, of course, is a Jenny Beyer, gorgeous fabric. And so that's going to be the binding. And I had to add up and say, how much binding do I need? So here is our triptych piece, not finished, but it's getting there. That's a lot of paper piece blocks. I'm sure it's about 200 of the paper piece blocks. Okay, yay. So now I have this week's craft, because until Christmas, every Sunday we're going to do some kind of holiday craft, okay? So, you ready to see this week's? And I have the pattern for you, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Are you ready? Here is this week's holiday seasonal craft. Isn't this neat? This is a pumpkin pincushion. And what I did is I used some leftover tapestry fabric that I used to have as placemats, but now my decor has changed, so I didn't need that. And then I used a piece of real wool in that wonderful green, and I will show you how to make it. I'll give you the link to it, and let me see. Let me try to find this link if I could. But it's by Craftsy, and it was a free pattern. You can always go to craftsy.com. But I have the page right here. Okay. Let me copy and paste the link. So you can get your own free pattern. Now you might have to put your email address in there, and then they'll try to email you to get you to join, and you probably then then you might have to, after a while, say, I'm getting too many emails and unsubscribe. But you might end up finding things you really liked. Oh, yeah. Hi, Marsha Hahn. Okay, here it is. Enter. There is, and at that site, they also, and I'm thinking of doing this for next week. I'm thinking of making a pillow, a pumpkin pillow. And guess what? It's paper pieced. So here is This, when you see this on a paper piece, this is to show you where all the pieces go. Then when you see these that are, you can cut apart, this is the actual pattern. And here is the other part of the pattern. And there are even notes you can write down about your things. So this is going to be next week's, and I'm going to make a pillow for the couch or whatever. I think that'll be cute. So that's next week. All right. So I better put it where I know, because then I'm going to have to work on it. So this week's, now you've got the link. Okay. Here is the pattern for that. See this? And I thought, how cute, a pumpkin pincushion. And I love pincushions. So it tells you what sizes things you need, and it even has the pattern for you to use. But honestly, I don't follow directions. I don't follow patterns. So let me bring you over here, and I'm going to show you quickly how easy this is to make it. I made this, was it last night while I was sitting on the couch? Okay. So here is my leftover batting scraps that I'm going to use as stuffing. Here's my pattern. Here is some good cotton rope that I like using to help enforce, the look of the lobes of the pumpkin. Then I have some crushed walnut shells so that I can put those in the pin cushion. And that way, when you put your pins in, it helps keep them sharp. Then they had this button on top of theirs, and they had this, but it made it, whoops, sorry. Oh, I better close. Hold on. Let me close this window. Okay. All right. So, oh, I forgot to show you something really quickly. Silly me. Hold on just a second. I got to show off my babies. Swipe to unlock. Go to photos. All right. Now, let's see. Oops, hold on. Okay. Let me make this bigger. Let me make this bigger. Whoops. Hold on. I almost forgot this, and I don't want to forget my grandson doing this. Hold on. Okay. Here we go. Let me hold it. Let me turn it so that it's not too bright. Oh, I think it's going to be so bright you're going to have a hard time seeing it. Grandson is he maybe that one. He's one of those saxophone players. Well, it's not showing good. So what I will do is let me show you the next photo. Okay. The next photo. Whoops. Okay, here is a good photo of them on the field. Okay. Okay, let's see. Well, there's my finger. Here is Pilot Mountain. So when you're watching Andy Griffith's show and they say Mount Pilot, there you go. Okay, and then here and far away. And some people could say it looks unusual, but anyway, we're used to it. I took pictures after pictures. Okay, so that's that for me. Now, oh, here's me laying in my hammock after last Sunday's show. I told you I was going to get in the hammock. Okay, so that's it. Let me cut that off. All right, now back to this. Yes. Oh, your son played a saxophone. My son still plays drums. My one daughter played clarinet like I did, and then my other daughter played French horn. Okay. So here are the instructions. Let me move that out of the way. What I did is cut my own shape, but I made sure. Hold on. I made sure. Bring this up. Okay. I made sure to make it pretty close to that. It's just a little touch bigger. I cut it out of paper and then I put a thicker piece of paper behind it so I could make a template. Okay. Then I came to my tapestry fabric. See how it was the shape of a placemat before? I came to the tapestry fabric and I decided where did I want to put it? This one right here. Now for y'all, what did I do? Oh, there it is. Let me get my chalk. For y'all, I'm going to try to do it proper. But normally I just hold the paper and cut around it. But so here is one. You need to make 6 of these lobes. 6 of these lobes right here. Now, the one I made since I was watching TV in the living room, I sewed by hand. But this one I'm going to sew on the machine. And you can kind of turn it like if you want to take this. This is a beautiful flower right here. So then I can come in here. And since it's going to be sewn by machine and it's going to be stuffed nice and full, I don't have to worry about turning the fabric and worrying about the bias. So I'm doing pretty good. But you just cut these 6 out. This is so quick and easy. It's very quick and easy. All right. So now I've got these 2 sections. And you go on and, well, I'm still going to, let me keep working because we have time and I want to show you a couple things about stuffing it. Okay. All right. I'm going to take this one. Ooh, these are really pretty. So I'm going to stick those there to cut this piece. Because each of the sections, it's kind of nice to have something to look at. See, like I had leaves, flower, leaves, part of a flower, leaves, and a big flower. All right, so I'm going to do that. Oops, did I make sure that, yes, it's fully on. All right, so then now that would be number 3. I'll do another big flower, although it takes up, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this leaf right here. But sometimes, you don't get to, you don't really know exactly what the big flower is doing. So here, all right, so now I have 4. I just need 2 more. Yeah. All right. I think I am going to go ahead and do this flower. So now I'm just going to need 1 more after this. Okay. And let me see. This right here. I'll just do right here. Okay. This is number 6. Now, I'm going to go. I forgot to get something. The string that I'm using is just an off-white. Let me cut these out really quickly, and then I've got to go get something to color the string. Okay. Now I could try to find a decorative gold type cord, but last night I just used a fabric marker to color the one orange that I needed. Okay. I've lost the chalk line, so I'm just going to fold this up because you have to just make sure that it's equal. And I was worried looking at the shape of this that it wouldn't give me enough of the pumpkin look, but it did, because by the time you draw it in and you stuff it really good, I'm going to make sure I've got that. Okay, good. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, and all right, save these for later. Come up and do this one, and then go ahead and cut into this one, and then come on and cut this one. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, but I'm going to show you. It's so easy to make, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay. And when I come back, I'll also, let me see if I can grab some more um, tapestry fabric that I have. So just look, you might have some upholstery fabric. Let's say you don't have tapestry or upholstery fabric scraps. Then just start picking out your orange or whatever color you want your pumpkin to be. I just thought the tapestry would make it really cute, really easy and fast. So that's why I'm choosing that. All right, so now I've got my 6 pieces. Let me get my fabrics out of the way. I'll be right back. I'm going to come back with some orange paint or marker and some more tapestry fabric. Okay, I was looking at this tapestry fabric, but you know what? This is more of a springtime color, but it would make some really beautiful pincushions. But it's not the colors I was hoping. All right, so this really is a good color pincushions. All right, now what I'm going to do so it can be drying, I'm going to cut a good size piece of this, probably not quite 2 yards of this twine. And this is just a cotton twine that you would use for cooking or crafting, but I don't want it to be this white color on that fabric. So I've got this. Let me see if I have enough orange paint. Oh, if I don't have enough orange paint, then I'm not going to worry because I brought an orange marker over. Let me see. Aha. Okay. Stuff this in the cap. Get every bit of orange paint out of there I can. Then stick it in here. Get some orange paint out of there. Yay. All right. I think that's all I'm going to need. Now, my hands are going to get a little messy. Okay. But, Melton, thank you for all your photos, all that you have been doing for us. But you see how easy it is to take just a simple cotton string and turn it into something that will look good on your pumpkin. And you may want to put a little brown in it to darken it up. But if I didn't have the paint, I could use just run it along a marker. So really pretty easy. So now I'm going to let this just sit on this and dry. Let me wash my hands and get ready to sew. All right. All right. I love keeping a pack of wet wipes down here because I don't have a sink in this room. But if you have wet wipes, you can usually clean up your hands. Now, if I were smart, I would have put the paint in a baggie and then put you can ink tints on it. There you go, Laura. We have been loving our ink tints lately. Anyway, I'm just getting off the majority because, yeah, there we go. Getting off, keep those wet wipes. You can find them easily and cheaply now. They are wonderful. If you're like me and you tend to craft on the spur of the moment. And okay. So I got off the majority of it. It's all good. There we go. All right. So now let me do some sewing. All right. Turn my machine on. On. Oh, there it is. There. Okay. So all I have to do is take and know what direction. I think this is going to be the top and this the bottom. So I take and put them facing the right direction, right sides together, then come along here with a nice small stitch, like 1.8. I think I'll do that. And then put them close together. And I'm not going to sew a full 1/4 of an inch, but you can. Okay. Here I start. I'm starting slowly because you know how sometimes the points of the fabric will get sucked into the needle hole. So here we go. And this honestly was so easy to do by hand. What I did was a locking stitch every stitch. So every stitch I took, I would go back half a stitch and do the next stitch. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and take 2 more, put those together. Why is this one? Wait a minute. One's too big and one's too small. Hold on. I didn't finish cutting one correctly. So let me finish trimming that up. Yes. Well, it looks a little long here too. You don't have to have these perfect, but you want them pretty close. All right. So now what I'm going to do is take these leaves and take this flower, putting them the same right side up. Now I'm going to stitch this one. And I'm going to do these chain piecing because number 1, it's so much faster. And number 2, I don't have to break the thread in between. So I have less chance of it pulling the fabric into the needle hole. So here we go. And then my last 2, make sure they're pointing in a pleasing direction. Put those together. And here we go again. All right. Boy, it is a lot faster to sew by machine than by hand, but it was nice to kind of just sit and enjoy the process. All right. So now I'm going to give these a little trim, cut these apart. Then all I have to do is open up. And that look, oh, I worried that I had the wrong side, but it's just because that flower is so big, it looks slightly different. All right. And this goes, yep, this way. This goes this way. Oh, I wish I had been a little more careful. I was going to, with my other one, I put the leaves up against the flowers. So I didn't, like took every other one was a leaf, every other one was a flower, that type of thing. Okay, come back in here and sew this together. Okay, you just so write down that shape. And what I'm going to do is be smart this time. Put a little scrap of fabric under my needle. Go right onto the scrap. That way, next time I'm ready. Okay, and my last piece. But remember, when you sew your last piece, do not um, sew it all the way shut. Well, I'll still have this seam. Never mind. Sew this one all the way down then. Never mind. Okay. And then come onto that fabric. And another thing that makes it's easier to sew this by hand because you don't have to bunch it up to get it under the presser foot. There we go. Okay. I have a little thread holding me back. Flip this. There we go. Sometimes that thread gets caught on the foot and it holds you in place. But come all the way down with this one too. Okay. All right. Let me cut off this little piece. I still put it on. And you put that scrap of fabric halfway so it doesn't get pulled in the hole. All right, so now I have this. And if you see now I'm getting that pumpkin shape. Okay. Let me turn my light here. Good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing here, but leave an opening here. Okay. This is tricky. You kind of got to shove it under there. Take a few gentle steps. If you're worried, make sure you have a 14 or 16 needle when you get too many layers. And leave a little bit open. Whoop, there we go. Got that open. All right. I'm going to cut off this now. And I'm going to turn it to the inside, bringing it out this little open. Cut off some of this extra fabric down here, making sure it's all closed really well. All right. So now what you do is you push the bottom in first, because then you bring that up to the opening and you can pull it right out. And let's say your fingers are kind of big and you're worried about getting it through, then you can grab a pencil and you can use it to kind of help you get through. Now I see right there that the bottom didn't get closed good enough, so I will close that up by hand later. Okay. I don't want to take the time. Normally I would pull it back out, stitch it again, but I'll just do it by hand. All right, so here is the pumpkin. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring over, well, let me come back to the ironing board. That works pretty good to work here. Move things out of the way. Put all this stuff out of the way. All right. So now I need to get a wooden skewer or stick or something. I even have this hard thing that used to be part of a decorative balloon. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of pull this in pieces that are easier to work with. And I'm going to stick them right there, shove them in. Most of what I stuff this with is these pieces of leftover batting. Okay. Okay, yeah, okay, here we go. So now just keep shoving it in there using a skewer, a chopstick, or plastic stick to shove it in. Now, the thing you got to realize, you're going to stuff this much firmer than you ever thought, because you want a pin cushion that's really firm, got a little weight to it. You can stick pins in without worrying they're going to come through and stick your hands. So here we go. Let's just put this at the opening and keep shoving it in. And from time to time, make sure it's filling up every little edge of the pumpkin, because you'll only get that really great shape if it's really full. So, and yeah, and then don't forget, you're going to come with that string and put it along every seam line. So just keep shoving it in, shoving it in. I'll take my finger and just mash it down real hard. Mash it down, get that shape fully out. Okay. All right. So you just keep going until you're absolutely stuffed with just a little. Here, push it to the sides. I have a lot more here I could do, but now what I want to show you is putting this in. And I was wondering if I have a plastic spoon. I do new. Sometimes I keep a leftover plastic spoon handy. Hold on, let me grab one if I've got one. All right. I just found that thicker twine that I've been looking for quite a while. You could even, if you want, put this around it. But the only problem with that is this is a little more upscale. All right, so let me get my work messy paper. Oh, good, this is already dry. Get my work messy paper here. Then I'm going to take my spoon. I don't want this stuff going everywhere. Make sure that you reach in and with your finger kind of make a little well in the center to put this. Now, if you're allergic to nuts, then don't. But this stuff is what's in. Well, that was really messy. I did this on my lap with no messy paper and didn't do this last night. Okay. So what I'll end up doing. I don't like wasting it because I'm not planning on buying any more crushed walnut shells for the rest of my life. Also, if you want to find inexpensive walnut shells, I know that Missouri Star for a while was selling little bags really cheaply, but you can also go to a pet shop because people use these sometimes in, I don't know, lizard cages or something. And let me see. What I should have done is gotten a smaller spoon. I'm really showing you the messy way today. Sorry about that. Okay, just keep pushing it down because this is what I want to get ready to show you. Let me clean up. I can always put the rest back in the bag. That's not a big deal. But I'm going to come in here, get this in. And then I'm going to come in here with some more stuffing because you've got to be able to sew the seams of this back together. So you see where I left the opening near the top of this, because this would be really hard to sew it and fill it if it were too far down the side and you had that stuff spilling out everywhere. So now you come in now, so I fill it almost all the way with stuffing, then put the, I'm sorry, my camera dip down. I'm sorry if you were not able to see. Maybe you didn't see how messy I was being then. But I'm just going to take this like this, pour it back into the bag. And let me close up this bag because I don't want to take a chance that this stuff's going to fall. Okay. All right. Let me get this out of the way. All right. So now I have this here. Then you're going to take needle and thread and you're going to stitch it up. 1 second. I'm just going to kind of tweak it just a little bit. Hold on. Let me see if I've got an already threaded needle that would work better. All right. Because I want to show you how to put this string on really well. Because I was worried myself. How will I get this string on there? Is there an alternative? Not that I know of. You could put some dry rice into the pin cushion. That'll help keep it dry. Or just leave out the crushed walnuts. I do it just because it gives it a little weight. But you could take and put a third stuffing, then put some dry rice, then you could put the rest stuffing, and then that would give it a little heft to it. But so far as keeping the needle sharp, I honestly don't know. But it doesn't have to be put in. If you don't have it, don't worry, don't add it. I ended up buying this bag, which means it's going to last for the rest of my life. So I definitely use it. I'm making sure, yeah, it's pretty stuffed. You want to make sure this is really stuffed, and I'll show you why. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly get this sewn up. Now, normally I wouldn't use white thread. I would use a matching thread. But if you're careful enough and pull it tight enough, you really don't see it. So let me finish this real fast. And then I'm going to show you how to put that cording on. But do nice small stitches and pull it really tight because you are really going to be yanking on this. So you don't want it to come back apart. You know, you could even make a pomegranate. I was just looking at the way this is pooking up. Wouldn't that be cute? Pomegranate pincushion. So here we go. Okay. Then I'm going to just tuck this in and do a stitch or two right across. Ouch. That was my finger. And this poor thumb, it always gets stabbed like that. Okay. Here we go. And I think this will do it. All right, then let me make a good knot because if you use a tapestry or a kind of woven fabric, be careful. You don't want your knot slipping back through because the last thing you want is for this to pop open. So I make a bunch of knots like this, bunch of knots, and then I'm going to take and put it through and come out over here. So that knot is really, it would have to come out of several rounds of the fabric to get out. So I'll pull it through and under and out, then nip off the final. And now we have our string. And it unthreaded, so I'm just going to leave it there for now. What you want to do is run the string underneath. You want to pick a seam, and that's going to be where the seams are going to be where you put your cording. And for the first one, you're going to make sure it's right on the seam because that's going to be where the lobe is. And you put it through like this and snug it down, making sure it's still right on that seam. Then double knot it so it's nice and snug. Okay, there it is. Making sure, whoops, it's got to stay on that seam. Okay, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do next is take it and kind of go across so I can keep it tight. Go down this seam and come back up this seam. Okay, and then when I do this, I'm going to take and run it underneath and bring it through a loop to make a knot, okay? Because I want it to stay right in place. So pull it snug. The more snug you pull it, the cuter it is. And that's why it's wonderful to have it on the seams, okay? Now, I'm going to, while I'm here, so it doesn't loosen up while I do the last pass, I'm going to take this little piece of thread from the first knot, and there, I've made myself another knot, okay? And then I'm going to go right down this seam and come back up this seam right here. There we go. And then I'm going to cut it with just a few inches left over. Now, I did a better job of pulling these tight earlier. Let me see if I can, but you really want to snug it down. Let me see. Hold on. Because to have it really be cute, you want it nice and snug. I may end up just doing this all over again because it's hard to do it on camera for y'all. But you really want it. See, right now, I don't like it sitting out like this. I like it better where I pulled it more tight. Let me see if I can redo this and show you. Hold on, because I really do want to show it to you the right way. Okay. Let me try this again. All righty. Okay, let's try it again. And I'm going to get right from the start. I'm going to get it nice and snug. So I come down this seam, come back up the opposing seam. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to really yank on this. So let me tighten it first. Whoops, got to keep it on the seam. Let me snug it down. Whoops. I did something weird with this knot, so hold on, it's not tightening. I must have turned it around first. Well, that's neat. I learned a new kind of knot, but it's not what I wanted. Let me loosen this and try it again. I think I circled the thread or the string first before I knotted it. Okay. There we go. I want to get this right. This is too cute not to get it right. All right, so I'm going to come up this seam. I'm going to come up the opposing seam. What I want to do is I'm going to wrap this thread. I'm going to wrap it twice right there because that helps me kind of hold it. And you might even have to, help it push in that seam. Okay. So just make sure it goes in really good. That looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a knot. So it is knotted off. There we go. All right. I think that's going to be better. Now I'm going to come out and go across so I can stay nice and tight. That's all right. Now I'm going to come across to this seam and kind of push it down on that seam. You kind of have to help smudge it like that. pull it tight. I'm going to do the same thing of twisting this around 2 times so it helps to hold until I get the knot just the way I want. Pull it tightly. Yeah, you really do have to tug on this to get it to look right. Gotta do a good tug. All right, so now I take the string and I come, and it helps if I go across like that instead of back this way. Go across, go right down that seam. Here it is. Come up the other seam like this. There we go. We're getting it now. And I'm going to do the same thing. Whoops, hold on. I don't want to make a mistake like I did the last time. But come up, and I'm going to wrap it twice. Hold on. If I wrap it twice, that's the real magic, because then it won't come loose while I'm trying to tighten it up. All right. And what you may, oh, there's one more. I'm sorry. Go down here, come back up this seam like this. Okay. Just really scrunch it tight. 1, 2. I think what happened, it might have come off even. I'm going to pull it really tight, and then I'll make sure it's on the seam allowance, okay? All right, so got it tight. And now just kind of come along, and sometimes you might have to smush it a little to make sure it's right on the seam, because that will help it make those beautiful lobes that you like in pumpkins. All right, now I'm going to do one last knot. Okay, one last knot. Cut the excess string off. Now, in the pattern that came off of it, it showed a little flowery shape. But you know what? I like using something that looks more like real leaves. So what I'm going to do is kind of make my own shape like this. And I don't want it so big that it blocks the whole top of the pumpkin. So I'm going to come along like this and just make a more squash type leaf. So if you grow squash plants, you'll know. Then and cut 2 of them, and I'm going to use this to hold it there, but then I'm going to sew it on when I put my button on it. So here we go, right here. And then I'll go to my button tin and just start looking. What button would I like? Now, you could put any kind of button you want, but I just saw, I mean, there are plenty of wonderful buttons. Look at this. That looks really cute on it too. But I saw this and it kind of looked viney. And that's where I thought, oh, wouldn't that? And it's kind of classy. But find some of your really interesting. Look through, find whatever kind of button you want. And it could be a button like that. But once I put 2 leaves, one right across from each other, then I take with a doubled thread, something really tough, a doubled thread, and I'll sew the button on. You can either sew it on the top, or you can try to run the needle through all the way to the bottom. But here we go. So then you end up with your nice two little pin cushions. And as you see, they don't take that long to make. Now, this one, I would say I might have stuffed it a little further and I really pulled the twine in, but they're absolutely precious. I love them. And they're really wonderful because the tapestry gives them some substance, holds the needles really well. You don't want the pins and needles to go disappear forever inside. In fact, another little tip, never put a plain needle in a pin cushion. Always have a little piece of thread on it, and that way you won't lose it. One time I cut open a pin cushion. Oh my gosh. I got like 30 needles that had gone into it that disappeared. And I just wanted to cut and see what's inside of a commercial pin cushion. And I found all these needles. Now, they're no good anymore because most of them were corroded where moisture might get inside the pin cushion. Now, that's another thing. Do you have any of those little packs of desiccants? Those little things that come in packages? It might be a really good thing to put a pack of desiccants down in there to keep your pincushion dry so your needles don't corrode. But here is this week's. I love this thing. I love it. And I love the size of it. I love the weight, the heft. And I even love that pretty gold button. So now it makes me think of what other kind of shapes can I do or what other holidays. And boy, and I really, really, really love the tapestry fabric on them. I think it just gives it that little extra. And I put some matching pins, even though they're not good pins, but they look pretty. All right, that's it for today. I've given you the best that I've got for the moment, and I will keep looking and finding more fun things for you. Okay? Thank you, everyone, for joining me. You're the best. All right? I will see you Thursday night for Art Quilt Thursday. This portrait stuff is working. I love it. Take good care. Do something special just for you. Bye bye, everyone. Enjoy the fall. You are the best. The button makes them look more vintage. Thank you. That's a great idea. Thank you. I love that. You were thinking about the people with nut allergies. Exactly. You have to let people know they have nuts in them. Thank you. Take good care. You're very special to me. Thank you for spending this time with me. All right. I'll see you Thursday. Now, if I can make my mouse work, I can close this out. So there we go. I'm getting it. Bye bye, everybody.